Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seth Joyner podcast. I know we're early, but we've got this live edition that we're doing here from 4:30 to 5:30, and then you guys who missed it will be able to rewatch it from 7:30 to 8:30 at its normal time. Got the Chris Long, Connor Barwin gala tonight, so I had to move up the timeline. Anyhow, make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and following Seth Joyner Show YouTube page, where you can see our pre and post game show. We're live every game day, an hour and a half before kickoff, and 90 minutes right after for our post game show. And then the Seth Joyner Show TV show you guys can catch over on PHL 17 on Wednesday nights. Then again on NBC Sports Philly on Thursday night. And if you miss it there, you can find it on my YouTube channel. I got Kevin Negandhi from ESPN on the TV show. Had a great session with him today, chatting, talking about the Eagles. If you guys didn't know, he is a rabid Eagles fan. And then here every Tuesday night, normally from 7:30 to 8:30, Seth Joyner podcast. All right, let's kind of jump into it a little bit. We have got, I think we're kind of on panic alert right now, the way this Eagles team is regressing. And in a lot of ways, I said it during the taping of my TV show today, I kind of get this, that game felt like 2023 49ers game when they came in here and just completely dominated the Eagles. They stole their spirit, stole their soul. And from that point on, the Eagles went into a total collapse the rest of the way. I'm thinking that won't be the case because you got Vic Fangio on the defensive side of the ball. And even though, for the first time in a long time, I've saw him last week kind of get dominated by Ben Johnson. I'll talk more about that, when I get over to the defensive side of the ball. But offensively, I just don't know where we go. A lot of people are crying for Patullo to be the change, and who are they going to get? Who are they going to bring in? There's nobody they're going to bring in. The only alternative is to have Nick Sirianni call the plays. A lot of people don't want that because of how the first 5 or 6 games went his first year. He had to turn it over to Shane Steichen, but this is his offense. This has been his offense since he's been here, through Brian Johnson, through Kellen Moore, now through Kevin Patullo. This is Nick Sirianni's offense. And, as crazy as it sounds, maybe he had a bad stretch those first couple of games, his rookie season as a head coach. And maybe it'll be different if he takes over play calling now. But, I tell you, play calling and coaching is like playing a chess game, because at the end of the day, the coaches have these 11 pieces on the board, and it's up to them to put these pieces in the proper place to make plays. And then the players themselves have to execute the program, or execute the game plan, I should say. And there was a lack of execution on both sides of the ball. And no matter what happens, until this offensive line decides that they're going to fight, that they're going to be more aggressive, that they're going to play with more urgency and more intensity, this offense is going to continue to struggle. Last year, their mentality was they were just dominating and destroying people. And I don't see that this year in no way, shape, fashion, form. They're not finishing plays. They're not battling to the end of the play. they're not acting like they really want to dominate anyone. Their body language, is crap when you watch them. They walk out of the huddle, they walk back to the huddle. The effort's just not there. It's almost like they're defeated because either they don't know what they're doing or they're not sure of themselves, but there's a tremendous lack of concentration. And this one play just illustrates everything for you, okay? I'm going to run the play a couple of times, and then I'm going to freeze the play at the most critical juncture of the play, and then I'm going to take you to the whiteboard and explain to you what you just watched and what the remedy could have been, okay? Okay, so my producer PJ is going to go ahead and run the play. And while it's running, I'm just going to talk. Now, you got a zone play here. What you didn't see was Dallas got motion over to the right side. Now, this play is like completely destroyed. The area I want you to focus on, look at number 50, the 3 technique, and watch what he does to Tyler Steen and Fred Johnson. Like, he single-handedly destroys this play, okay? Look at the still. Tyler Steen just 100% misses him, doesn't get a piece. Now, I realize that Fred Johnson is the one that has to make the block, and he's slow getting to the point of attack. But Tyler Steen, if he steps the way that he's supposed to step and extends his right arm just to jam that guy enough to give Fred an opportunity to get over there, then the play has a chance. But you just look at this. And PJ, let's run the play one more time, because I want to run this play multiple times because I want to touch on each and every guy across the board. Okay? I'm going to start on the left side with Grant Calcaterra. Watch the end of this play with what this safety does to a starting tight end in the National Football League. Get off me. That's one. Okay? No, let's go back. Just let the video keep rolling. Okay? Fred Johnson, late. You know the snap count, and he's late getting to the guy. Okay? Let's go to Tyler Steen. Who the hell ducks his head to try to avoid a guy and miss the linebacker too? Okay? The only guy that blocks worth a damn in his whole play is the center, and he's got a guy that outweighs him probably about 70, 80 pounds. Okay? Let's go to Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson steps properly. He's coming up on the linebacker. Watch him just stop. How are you going to stop? You don't know if the whistle's blown. Why did you stop? Jordan Mailata, stop. And Dallas Goedert, who's probably got the easiest block, he comes off, he turns him because Jordan gives him a little shove. Okay? All right, you can get out of it. Now you guys are getting the idea. Now, that's just one example. The biggest problem I have is with them running that play, okay? Running that play and hoping that Fred Johnson can reach that 3 technique with Tyler Steen not even putting a hand on him to slow the guy down or to help. He splits both of them and destroys the play. Okay, so let's go to the whiteboard because I'm going to show you, okay? And if you guys follow me on Twitter, I did a breakdown like this on Twitter, and we talked about what could have happened and what should have happened. Football is all about the numbers, okay? So before Dallas goes in motion, okay, if you count from the center over, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the left side of the defense, on the right side, left side of the defense, right side of the offense, okay? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders, okay? The minute you send Dallas in motion, okay, you just balanced it up because they've got pretty much an 8-man front. Pretty much an 8-man front with your front four, your front down four, your 2 linebackers, a slot corner, and the safety. Okay? So, instead of sending Dallas in motion across the formation, why not just stay where you are? Because you have the numbers. I keep telling you guys it's about the numbers. If you look on the other side before Dallas even comes across, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders on this side. Okay? Against 1, 2, 3. So if you have the numbers match up on the other side, why not check the play at the line of scrimmage? Okay? Just check it. This play should be run to the strength side where Dallas Goedert is. Why? Because this end is probably going to move out a little bit and align more like this. Okay? Now, let's take you through the blocking scheme. Okay? We're going to double team, and he's going to get up and get this linebacker. Okay? We're going to double team. He's going to get up and cut off this linebacker. Okay? Dallas is going to double, which is going to, Calcaterra is going to block down, which is going to allow them to get a double team here, and he can either work up to the safety, okay, or he can work here. Dallas can punch and wrap around, okay? If they just change the play and run to where they have the numbers, I want you to look at this alley that Saquon has, okay? Again, you guys are going to hear me say this every single time I do a breakdown, okay? All right, PJ. Every single time I do a breakdown, if I can use my mind to look at these situations, okay, with the limited amount of time that I have to study film and to break down film and to think about the game from an offensive standpoint, being a defensive mind, you mean to tell me that the guys over at the NovaCare Center can't figure out that check needs to be made to the side where you have the numbers advantage? The minute you send that guy in motion, you just balanced everything up. And guess what? You got 7 guys to block 8, which means that you're at a deficit. I just don't understand why it's so complicated for this coaching staff to figure it out. And now Nick is standing in front of the public once again, telling everybody we're trying to figure it out. We're working on it. We're trying to find a solution. It's week 13. If you ain't got a solution by now, I don't know where you're going to find it. And then I hear that, Jalen came into the beginning of the season and, made the determination that he didn't want to run the football as much as he's run it in the past. I get it. I can kind of understand that because every year for the last 3 years minimum, he's missed 2 or 3 games at the end of the season. Probably cost him an MVP back in 2022. Okay? But he is the master key for this offense. And if you wait, like I hear a lot of people saying, if you wait until the playoffs to activate him as a runner, it may be too late. Because our most hated rival is playing. They're peaking at the right time. And if the Eagles somehow go 2-3 down the stretch and the Dallas Cowboys go 5-0 down the stretch, they are now the NFC East champions. And the Eagles fall from 1st to 3rd to a wild card team at 6 or 7, and they're on the road with no home game. Just think about that. I'm not saying that I want to see Jalen Hurts run the ball 14, 15 times a game. But they have to implement the RPO and the read option back into this offense because it is the master key. He is the master key. Saquon had the type of year that he had because of Jalen Hurts and his ability to potentially pull the ball and take off and run. It's a numbers game. That backside defensive end has to stay home. He has to, because of the threat of Jalen taking off with the football. But when you completely move it out of your offense, okay, it hinders Saquon's ability to run the ball. It hinders the blocking scheme, and it hinders the passing game in a massive, massive way. Jalen's ability to run the football and to scramble is part of what makes him the dynamic quarterback that he is. Because he's never going to be Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. He's never going to be that type of quarterback. What makes Jalen Hurts what he is and what has made him the quarterback that has taken two teams to a Super Bowl is his ability to use his legs and his ability to make defenses play honestly. And whether he wants to or not, I don't know how valid that is, but some of the insiders have said that this is a fact. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. And this is a desperate time. Because how epic of a collapse would it be if the Cowboys come back from death in the division, and the Eagles falter enough for them to take the division? It's unfathomable to me that this team is in this position. And guess what? It's going to continue. The pressure is going to continue to ratchet up and ratchet up and ratchet up every single week for this team. These coaches have time with a 10-day period between last week's game and the upcoming Monday night game to fix some things. Get back to basics. Get back to basics. If teams are going to give you a four-man front, then you should be doubling both defensive tackles in the run game and then working up to the linebackers. Because these slip blocks, our offensive lines aren't staying on their blocks long enough to move the line of scrimmage. So go back to the duo blocks. Go back to the basics. Now, when they get in a five-man front, guess what? It's mano y mano. And it comes down to whether you want to kick that guy's ass across from you or he wants to kick your ass to worse. And then you find out who really wants to be here long-term on the offensive front, because guys have got to play in order for this thing to get fixed. There is no remedy for this offense if this offensive line doesn't get their head out of their behind and decide that they want to dominate, because that's what football is. My manhood versus your manhood, and I'll be damned if I'm going to let you beat me like a war drum, play after freaking play after freaking play. Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. By the way, I got my guy, Barrett Brooks, is going to join me in the second half of the show. But I just got to get some of these things off my shoulders, off my chest. Because what I watched as an Eagle at heart, an Eagle that bleeds green forever, was downright freaking embarrassing the other night. More so on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball. 47 runs for 281 yards, 6 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Where was Jalen Carter? Where was Jordan Davis? 6'5", 235 pounds, and they're just getting pushed around like the sisters of the poor all day long. They got dominated up front. As a linebacker, they should have taken this personal. Because anytime that you get run up on like that, guess what? The linebackers played a role. Zach Bond, awful game. Awful game. N'Kobe Dean, awful game. Love them both. But the truth is the truth. This is part of their problem. PJ, put the board back up one more time because I just want people, I have to give you these illustrations just so you guys can see and understand what's going on, okay? So let's put them in a 2 tight end set, okay? You got an end. As a matter of fact, let's move him out. You got an end, a tackle, and an end. You got the linebackers off the ball, both linebackers off the ball. Caleb Williams under center, okay? What I see a lot of the Eagles trying to do is instead of them reading the offensive lineman, they're trying to read the flow of the back. So if the back flows this way, the linebackers step that way. And let's take this guy off the ball, okay, and put him in motion, okay? Then their eyes get caught up with what the motion is doing. And these 5 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? These 3 guys right here, these 5 guys right here, they tell you what every play is on every down. If it's a run play, they got to take real estate. If it's a pass play, he's got to set every single time. And I know that the game has changed from when I play and coaches are doing things different. But when I see linebackers reading the running back or looking at the quarterback, these 2 guys, number one, thing 1 and thing 2, are the greatest liars on the offensive side of the ball. Because if I want to run the ball here, why wouldn't I just open up and go give the running back the ball right here? No, he's reversing out because he realizes that these guys have their eyes in the wrong place. So the first thing they're going to do when they see him reverse out, they're going to step this way. Step this way. And when that running back comes this way and gets that ball and bends it back, okay, look at the angles that they've created for the offensive line, okay? Because they're looking at the wrong thing. Even if you got a puller, okay? Even if I got a puller as a linebacker, I need to see that, okay? If he blocks down and he blocks back and he blocks back and he blocks back, and let's say this tight end is off and they pull this guy and they pull that guy, the minute that I see that guy pulling, the minute I see the block back, the first thing I'm looking at is what are the backside guys doing? The minute that guy pulls, I got to get in that gap right now and stone him. I have to. And this backside linebacker, he's keying this offensive lineman because he's uncovered. Whether he comes in here and he spills it or whether he comes in here and he turns it back in, this linebacker is the free hitter. But if you're looking at this running back taking a false step or a jab step to come back, you're going to be out of position every single damn time. Now you guys can understand my frustration when I watch this defense, okay? I love Vic Fangio, but the Fangio versus Johnson thing, guess what? It was an absolute Johnson masterclass on not only how to coordinate your plays, but as PhD level play calling from a planning and execution standpoint. Because for the first time in a year and almost 3 quarters, I seen Vic Fangio get out-coached, out-schemed, out-strategized, out-coached. Sidney Brown got his first start. He talked about last week before his first start, he's got to learn how to slow down, and I agree. because I got a video that I can show you way back in March of last year when I said he's got to learn when to go 100 miles an hour and when to govern it down to 70, and when to take it up to 80 and when to take it back down to 50. Okay. When I watch him play, he's afraid to make mistakes. He looked lost the other night. No conversation, no communication, missed tackles, bad coverage that the quarterback just happened to miss in the end zone. He stuck out like a sore thumb. And I can promise you that Jim Harbaugh is looking at that and he's game planning it. The Eagles are going to see a hefty dose of the run because guess what? This Chargers team, they're 12th in rushing in the National Football League. When everybody thinks about it, we think about Justin Herbert. But they're 12th. They run for 122 yards per game on average. Kimani Vidal has got to be drooling right now at what he saw last week. And I'm telling you right now, if the Eagles defense, if the front, if these guys don't dominate, if Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Moro Jomo, and I forget Bryant's 97s, forgot his first name, if they don't dominate up front, they don't have a shot. It'll be a replay of what we saw last week. Because if Jim Harbaugh can get the run going, he won't stop. I promise you, he's looking at it from the standpoint of, hey, well, if the Chicago Bears, can run the ball 47 times for 281 yards and they average, 142 yards on the ground, we certainly can do so. We certainly can do so. And that's what they're going to see. That's what they're going to face. And the Eagles better figure it out because this situation is dire at this point in time. It's dire. Jalen Hurts has got to play better. When there are plays there to be made in the passing game, you've got to make the plays. He's got to get through his progressions faster. Can't get stuck on AJ. You got to get everybody else involved. Even though early on AJ wasn't involved, the ball was going to other places, and guess what? The offense wasn't tearing it up, but at least they were winning, and they were operating with some semblance, enough semblance of efficiency that they could win. Got to stop getting stuck on wide receivers. Your progression is 1. When you look at him, it's 1, he ain't open. 2, he ain't open. 3, he ain't open. Check it down or take off. But I see him too many times look at a guy and stay on a guy. And by the time he decides to come back, whatever was open is already covered or he's missed it because now the pressure gets to him. And he's got to either get out of the pocket and throw it away or scramble and get what he can get. His progression has to be 1, 2, 3, that quick. And the thing that bothers me about this whole A.J. Brown, and don't get me wrong, A.J. Brown's a great player, okay? But you got other players on the team. And the problem with saying that he's our number 1 and the passing game always has to go through him is that when he's not open, you don't have another answer. The same way you try to establish the run game early in a game, why not try to establish the short passing game, passing game across the middle? Now you take eyes away from AJ for a minute. Now you can come back to him. Dave, if you looked at Kevin Patullo's play sheet, okay, there's a box of plays, pass plays for AJ Brown. There's some plays for Dallas Goedert. There's some plays for Devontae Smith. And there's a little corner up here with some plays that may be for Jahan Dotson. Or maybe he's just a secondary on all of these. Sometimes you got to make somebody else the primary in order to get to your primary, if that's A.J. Brown. But I think every offense should operate from the standpoint that, hey, whoever's open, they get the ball. We're not going to try to force it to anybody. Run good routes, scheme him open, and then get him the ball. But to just line up and say this ball is going to AJ and I'm not looking anywhere else, you're asking for trouble. And therein lies the problem. And that's more of a coaching thing than it is a Jalen thing, in my opinion. But it is a Jalen thing because he's got to move off of AJ when AJ ain't open. He's got to move off Devontae when Devontae ain't open and go to the next read. That's what the great quarterbacks do. And he's also got to master the routes within his offense. And I get it. He's got a different coordinator every single year. But I promise you, they're still running Nick Sirianni's playbook. By year 5, he should know where every player is on the field. I sat and watched football all this weekend, college and pro. And I was in utter amazement at the creativity that I saw on all of these various offenses. I was amazed at how quarterbacks were getting through their reads. Watching Joe Burrow go boom, boom, boom. Watching different quarterbacks just go through it, reset their feet, reset their eyes. Look a safety off to come back over here. I don't know how they fix it. I don't know how they fix it at this point of the season. I'm just sharing with you some things that I observe. That in order for this offense to be as dynamic as they want to be, they're going to have to make the changes. Barrett Brooks up next, right after this break.
This holiday, Verizon's got the craziest deal ever with iPhone 17, iPad, and Apple Watch. All on them. But no getting it if you're naughty. You just ate. Don't worry. We know what list you're on. I'm always watching. Always watching. Not always. Boundaries.
Get the powerful new iPhone 17, iPad, and Apple Watch all for $0. No trade-in needed on any plan.
There's a number on the screen.
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 There is a number on the screen.
There's a number on the screen.
There's a number on the screen. There's a number on the screen.
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team.
This holiday, Verizon's got the craziest deal.
You guys are watching the Seth Joyner podcast. My man Barrett Brooks is supposed to be joining me here in a sec. If he's not ready, PJ, why don't you throw a couple of questions up, and we'll hit a couple of talk to him until Barrett joins us. Let me see. Arstein wants to know, Seth, do I want Slay back? Slay's on IR, I believe, in Pittsburgh. No, because I don't think Slay was playing all that well even before he got hurt. I don't believe that his defense would be, I think that he would probably be the guy that teams went after if he was still on this roster. I felt like Darius Slay was done 2 years ago. I really do. A lot of people saw it differently. I looked at it completely different. I just feel like at times, he made some plays here or there, but even a broke clock is right, twice a day. And I just feel like at some point, the Eagles have to figure out how they're going to, fix that problem. Now, I know I said it and people jumped on me last week that I would use a first or a second rounder on a corner next year, okay? Because the way that you stagger them allows you salary cap wise, a little bit of flexibility. But they need a guy that they can count on over on the other side. They have to have that. And I don't care whether you get him, I know that the offensive line is the main objective. We need, Lane's replacement. We got to start thinking about the right guard position because Tyler Steen doesn't look like he's going to be the guy moving forward. And as crazy as it sounds, you guys are hearing it here first, okay? I'm of the opinion that the marriage between Mekhi Becton and the Chargers, are headed for a divorce this offseason. And I believe that when that divorce happens, that Mekhi Becton will wind up right back here as a starting right guard for the Philadelphia Eagles next season for far less than the $10 million that he was supposed to play for the Chargers. I just believe that to be factual. Okay, but some resources have to be dedicated to the offensive line. And and maybe you're right. Maybe the first and second round picks have to be offensive linemen. But I'm telling you right now, they got to be, if you're going to pick them, they got to be they got to be guys that's ready to play now. You're not drafting any, projects with a first or second round draft pick. But they've also got to remedy the issue of another defensive tackle and a cornerback. First of all, another defensive tackle and another rush defensive end, depending on what you plan on doing with Jalen Phillips. All right. But no, I'm not a fan of bringing Slay back or wishing that he was here because, I think he would have probably gotten abused the same way that Adoree Jackson and some of these other guys are being abused right now because I felt like, before he walked out of the door, that he was just about done. All right, Barrett's ready to go. My former colleague from my time at NBC Sports Philly, former NFL alumni, Barrett Brooks.
What's up, bro? How's it going, man?
What you guys say? I know you've been listening.
I hear
you got
you
something to chime in.
That's one thing for sure, one thing for certain. You're going to tell the truth, man. You were saying it about Slay when they were talking about bringing somebody in for him or not letting them go. You said that earlier on. So I didn't think that was something that was going to fly with you anyways. But, I mean, just looking at it, man, I'm not worried about that right now. The way that run game was, the Bears just beat us up, man. And that's just crazy, man, how they did us.
You know what, B? So I was writing my show last night, and I wrote a line. I got to figure out where it is. I'm looking through my rundown now because I want to try to find it. Just talking about what the heck happened with the defense. When I went back and I looked at the film, man, I'm telling you right now, for the first time this year, Vic Fangio got out coached, man.
Oh, no question about that. No question.
I mean, it was an absolute masterclass put on by Ben Johnson, not only strategically, but schematically, what he did. Like, he made things look the same, whether it was run or whether it was pass, and it fooled the hell out of the whole defense. Like that one play where they ran the ball and Jalen Phillips was way up the field. Like
that's yeah, you're right. That was crazy, man.
I'm like, dude, your key is the tackle. The tackle didn't kick. The tackle blocked down. What the hell are you doing running up the field? Like,
and it was all our outside.
Go ahead, man.
It was all our outside defenders. Even when they brought an outside defender, a linebacker on the line, or they brought a safety on the line, or they even brought in Cooper DeJean on the line. That outside defender didn't know what to do. He didn't know whether he was getting influence blocked, whether he's being kicked out. I'm like, what is the key? What is he supposed to be looking at? What is he supposed to be reading? So I'm glad I'm here, asking you, what the heck is he supposed to read on? What is the outside defender reading when he's looking at that? Because I mean, they were lost the entire time going up the field, not crashing down. And that used to be our strength, the way those guys crash down and kick plays out. I don't know. I mean, I didn't know what that outside defender was supposed to do.
Well, I think, what was actually going on is that you had see, Ben Johnson didn't just schematically, dominate. What he did was he psychologically messed with him. And when you're not solid from a fundamental standpoint, B, then what happens is the really, really good offensive coordinators, they not only scheme you for your scheme and what you do, but they also scheme you for your inefficiencies.
Yep.
Like our defensive ends got a bad habit of crashing on plays away. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to ensure that the cutback doesn't come.
Right.
So what he did was he was like, okay, if you want to do that, crash your ends and we're just going to wash them down. We're going to cut it back anyway. Really what should happen is if I'm the end guy on the line of scrimmage, and that offensive tackle, when he blocks down on play away, the first thing I should do is I should step with my inside foot and look back down the line. Okay?
Right.
First thing I want to know, do you got pullers coming back at me? Okay. Then my eyes go back from the offensive line and seeing whether I got pullers coming back to see whether I got a reverse coming back. Because I'm the contained guy, I'm the last line of defense on the backside of the play. Then I slow play it because I got to see if the quarterback fakes and bootlegs or naked boots, I got to be the guy there for contain. But every single time that guy blocked down, Jordan Phillips and Jalix Hunt, they crashed. And it hurt him multiple times. It hurt him against the Cowboys.
Absolutely. That's where it started right there against the Cowboys. But then, but Seth, I mean, Jalen Carter, Davis, Moro Jomo, they didn't fight at the line of scrimmage all day. They got driven back 3 yards every single play. Every single play they got driven back 3 yards, man. You can't defend a run like that, man. You can't do it, man.
It's in the 4-man front, that's what they're going to get. They're going to get double teams.
Right.
You're going to get double teams, and teams are going to take the 600 pounds. They're going to push the 300 pounds off the line of scrimmage. And because the linebackers, I just talked about it in my last segment, the linebackers don't read the blocks of the offensive linemen. They read the flow of the back, and they're looking through the quarterback to the back, okay? And when you read that way, you're going to get fooled because the quarterback and the back are the two greatest liars on the offensive side of the ball. If you got a pass block, there's no doubt you got a kick, right?
Right, exactly.
You can't lie. I mean, the only thing you get, the only difference is, okay, when they run that stretch bootleg, but even at that, you can't be more than, a yard downfield. So you're going horizontal to the line of scrimmage, which tells me right now that it's pass. Because if it's run, you got to take real estate. You got to be able to move the defensive line. That means you got to come across the line of scrimmage. So that tells me right now, my read says run, so boom, I got to come downhill. If my tackle is double teamed to the play side or to the side away, then I got to come down and take that guy off so that defensive tackle can maintain his gap integrity, and I got to get in my gap. Now we build a shield. You build a wall across the board.
Right.
Okay? But when the linebackers are lined up at 4 to 5 yards, 4 to 4.5, and they're reading the back, and the back steps this way, and they step with him still at 4 and 4.5, and they trying to figure out what the play is, B, and both of the tackles are being pushed off the ball, that's a zero-sum game.
Right,
you can't win that way. You can't win that way.
Their laps, and they were getting the double teams getting put on their laps because there was nobody to take them off that block. So they stayed on the double team. Why get off it if you're not going to crash down and you're not going to make a move and crash down? I'm not coming off the double team. As an offensive lineman, you're waiting for that linebacker to make a move. And if you're going to sit back there at 4 feet off the ball, I'm gonna stay on that double team till I put that double team in the linebacker's lap, and that's what was going on. They were putting the linebacker, they put in the linebacker's lap, man.
But you know what the issue is? It's to your point, okay? Offensive linemen are always waiting for the linebackers to commit.
Right, exactly. Yep.
It's the same. It's the same thing with the running back. Like I was talking to somebody about it just last week. I could remember out of the sprint draw out of I when we used to play against Dallas.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
If the play was going to my left and I was the backside wheel backer, okay, every single time the Emmett would step this way, he would step this way with his hands on the ball this way, but he'd be looking backside at me.
Right.
It took me a year and a half to figure out what he was doing. So he knew he had the double team and the fullback on the front side. So he knew when he could get on the front side.
Right.
But if I flow too fast, he knew he had the cutback right now, and the cutback is the home run shot because that puts him one-on-one on the free safety right now. Okay. So he's taking the handoff and he's looking backside. And every single time that I would fast flow, he cut it back. Every single time I fast flow, he cut it back. And every time that I would stay backside, he would stay front side. So I started playing games with him because the tackle couldn't block me. I knew the tackle couldn't block me. Okay. So I act like I'm running over there. And then at the last minute, I hide behind the tackle and he cut it back and I blast his ass. So, I mean, you have to kind of play these games. This is just having the knowledge of the game.
You know who else was like that? Nickerson was like that too. Hardy Nickerson was the same way, man. Same way. I tried to get up on him every single time, and he would hide. I'm like looking for him, on the double team, we're looking for him. And as soon as Ricky get on my hip, he'd be right there. I'm like, I got to leave early. Then I'll leave early, then Sapp makes the play. So when you got linebackers that understand that and give you those type of looks, it's really hard as an offensive lineman to know when to get off or when not to get off, man.
It's hard because our linebackers, they really want to be run-through players,
Right.
But I think if you're gonna play run-through technique, you almost have to get in a 5-man front,
Yeah.
But if you get in a 5-man front, then that makes you weaker on the backside, It blew my mind, man, sitting there watching them rush 47 times for 281 yards, 6.6 yards per carry, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Like I never envisioned with the talent that they have on this defense, that a team, any NFL team, could dominate this defense in that manner. I was in a state of shock, man.
I'm gonna tell you, you're right. And I'm gonna say this too. He did us a favor the times that he did pass, because if I was running the ball like that, it might have been 65 run plays to 10 passing plays. He did us a favor every time he passed the ball. Every time he passed the ball, he did us a favor because there was no way we were stopping them schematically on when they wanted to run the ball. They had us, wrapped around their finger because all the misdirection in the backfield led to indecision on the guys on the outside, and the double teams didn't have anybody to really help them as far as, getting somebody off of them. So, I mean, it was the perfect scheme for a defense that, just didn't know what they wanted to do. They didn't know what they wanted to attack, or they didn't know what they wanted to sit back, man.
B, I know you played on the offensive line, but back in the day, we used to have a method for, taking care of the double team. You either get skinny, and split it, or you just take a knee. You take one knee, and while they double teaming you, they fall off on the sides.
Yep.
And then you just get back right to your feet and you're right there. And what that does is that knocks both of them off of you. And it allows the linebacker to now say, okay, if the player's away, I can fast flow. If the player's to me, I can come downhill on the outside shoulder of the double team, on the edge on the play side. But now I see these guys like I saw Bryant and I saw and you see Jordan Davis all the time. When Jordan Davis get tired, he just stands straight up. I'm like, dude, you 6'5", 6'6". Man, they're gonna run your ass to Jersey, man. Get down, on those double teams. And I don't understand why nobody coaches that anymore. Because I would rather make a pile right there at the line of scrimmage than to have them drive the guy 5 yards off the ball, and you got these little light-ass linebackers that don't want to come down and hit nobody. All they want to do is run from gap to gap. Like,
that was the hardest thing to do. Yep.
It blew my mind just watching that. You know, as a defensive player, you know, I was like losing my mind watching it, because I'm like, and the other thing I don't understand, like, every defense has run blitzes built into it.
Yep.
Why aren't you?
I didn't see any of that.
You where are the run blitzes? Okay, and where, for the most part, where are the line slants, the line stunts? You know, because when you line up in the same place all the time, this is what I say about smaller defensive lines. As a defensive line, you can't just line up and be in a predictable spot, because bigger always gonna beat smaller. So if you line up in the same spot, I can maul you all day long. Okay. What is it that creates opportunity for smaller defenses? Guys jumping gaps, guys slanting, you know, running games. Where was all of that the other day?
I didn't see any of that.
We didn't try any of it, man.
Right. I mean, N'Kobe didn't even blitz. I mean, that's been his namesake for the past, you know, since he got back into the lineup. His run through. And I tell people all the time, I mean, we used to run MEB. That's the worst thing you could do, is run an MEB blitz. You know, you slant the end, slant the backer, and take the mic and come around, because somebody's getting penetration. Somebody's getting penetration, because you only got 2 people to block 3 people. Somebody's gonna get there. I didn't see any of that. And then when you talk about the double team, that's the worst thing for an offensive lineman, man. When those guys just get skinny and put that knee on the ground, and those really good ones like Leon letting those guys come off that knee and they can come right back up.
Mm-hmm.
When you go on the knee or you just fell on the ground, that's a plugged hole right there. And it's going to be hard for either one of us to get up on the back or the end. So you're protecting your backer, number one, and you clogging the hole, number 2. I saw them guys taking trips 3 yards down the field, man. I'm 10 yards down the field. It was unbelievable how I just thought we just didn't care, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like I didn't see effort, but I saw I didn't see the intelligence of players saying, all right, they keep doing this to me. Let me do something else. Coach, this is what's going on. What can we do to combat this? I didn't see any of that, man. Nothing.
Hey, and listen, even when they were single block, there was plenty of plays where I could see Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter locked out on the offensive lineman, but they weren't getting off the blocks.
Right. You're right.
They just locked them out. Like, this is the greatest advantage I have. When I can lock out on the offensive lineman and I got my hands inside, okay, I got you locked out. That means I created separation. Now all I got to do is get off you. Like, if
they watch them go by.
If I'm in the B gap, okay, if I'm in the B gap and I got you locked out, boom, and I'm in my gap. If I'm in the A gap here, boom, and I'm in my gap. But they just stayed locked out, and the running back was just running right by him. Just
right
running
by
right, like it was like a freeway. Zoom, just right on. And I'm like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, get off the damn block, man. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?
And I know that these guys are a lot better. Like the interior of that offensive line, that's two of those guys, two of those guys were played in the Super Bowl. And you whipped them, and got them cut, got them traded to Chicago. And you mean to tell me he comes and plays guard and you can't whip him again? I mean, Wright is one of the best, tackles in the league. The right tackle, he's pretty good, you know what I'm saying? But still, you had him looking like he was all world against us. There were too many times where I just thought that, like you said, lock them out and just watch the play go by. Or linebacker, looking at the running back. And you see a tight end, I'm like, well, what? You're not reading the tight end coming backside? You're not seeing flow coming away? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they game planned us so well with the tight end and his motions and him coming back and him wham blocking and all that stuff that we didn't know what we wanted to do up front. Nothing. We didn't know what to do up front.
Well, they look unprepared is what they did. They look like they didn't even practice last week. They just showed up and had no idea what the offense was going to do or what their game plan was or, what they had shown in previous games at all. Like, they didn't even watch the film. They just showed up and played on a short week. Okay, we're going to walk through and we're just going to get ready to play. I got to go over back on the offensive side of the ball because, that's your side. And,
right.
And the most disappointing thing is, what's going on with this offensive line. I added some video and I did a breakdown a little earlier. They're asking, tackles to reach a 3 technique and asking centers to reach a 4-eye. It's damn near impossible, man.
That's why so much penetration getting up the field because of that. You can't ask a tackle to take, because he's got to get depth to get that, to get inside shoulder on that. He's got to get depth. So you're already creating, penetration because you're getting so much depth. You got to secure that line of scrimmage. So that guard can't leave as fast as he's leaving. They leave the double team way too fast.
See,
way too fast.
And so I got into a debate with a guy, and I realized, that I was wrong, because that's exactly what they were running. But there was no hurry. Steen was in such a hurry to get up to the linebacker, and the tackle had to reach the 3 technique. Yep. And it was he couldn't get there. The guy just ran in the backfield and blew up the stretch play, or running stretch or zone away. Okay. And all Steen had to do was just give him a shoulder and then get up to the linebacker, or put his hand on him. He actually ducked his shoulder like he was trying to miss him, B.
And you got to take care of the line of scrimmage before you can take care of the second level. And that's been my gripe with the running game this year. We're not securing the line of scrimmage. They want so bad to get to the second level that they're compromising the backside blocks and the front side blocks too. You've got to put a hat on somebody, and they're getting penetration because you're asking somebody to reach a gap and a half away. You can't do that. Even, right now with Cam Jurgens. Cam Jurgens is playing on one wheel. And I give him a yeoman's effort. He's out there trying to make it happen. But you can't ask him to go out there and reach a guy that far out and you not touch him as the front side guard. You can't do that. You got to give him a shoulder. You got to step, give him a little shoulder. And once you get that little shoulder, you give your tackle enough time now to get up underneath the block and go up. If you go, they almost like they, swim block them and stuff. I've seen them literally swim block a 3 technique to get up on the backer. To me, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not sound.
Listen, especially if you are playing against a 4-man front. 4-man front, both of those defensive tackles should be double every run play.
Have to.
I mean, you double them every run play. You push them off the ball as far as you can push them off the ball, and then you get up on the tackles. Now, when you see a 5-man front, now they already said, Landon Dickerson already said last week, we were, 2 weeks ago, we was having problems with, Dallas's 5-man front because they, we hadn't seen it. I'm like, fool, you done seen the 5-man front all year. What do you mean you talking about? You ain't seen it, okay? Diggy Azua and Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams just whooped y'all's ass all day long. That's what that was. Well, guess what?
Yep.
Guess what? You got another 5-man front coming in here that they're going to face on Monday, okay? So now, anytime you get a 5-man front, it's mano on mano, okay? It's my manhood against your manhood. And now we're going to see again who really wants to play. Because you know what? They don't finish plays. They don't finish blocks.
Seth, stop, man. Stop. Seth, I saw so many times where I see guys looking at their work. Like they may knock a guy down and then stop there and look at him. Or they get beat and they just turn around and look at him. Jalen Hurts is running and getting his head chopped off because the offensive line is watching him get his head chopped off. Why are they so much walking around? So many guys just sitting there watching bro, if you want to watch, you can come up and watch it with me in the office. Too many guys are walking, and if they get beat or if they beat somebody, I saw for instance, against Dallas, Fred Johnson had a great block, bam, threw the guy on the ground, and then stopped, put his hands on his hip. The guy got up and ran and made the play on Jalen Hurts, pushed him out of bounds. See, that's what I'm talking about. You got to finish plays. They aren't finishing shit. I mean, stuff. They're not finishing anything.
Hey, you on YouTube. You can say whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
Come on, man. They ain't finishing shit, bro. Come on, man. You cannot finish everything. I played 12 years in the NFL because I didn't know anything about stopping until I heard that whistle. When I heard the whistle, then I stopped. The play's still going. You got to go.
I talk about the same thing every week, okay? In the NFL, you have to play to the second whistle, okay? Right. Because guys are so talented and so fast and so sudden that when you think you got them blocked, that don't mean that they block. That's the difference between last year and this year. Last year, they were trying to maul people. I mean,
Right.
they were trying to plant people in the ground. Now they get a little shoulder, a little hand on them, and they think that they got them blocked, and the guy comes off the block. It's the same thing in pass coverage. He blocked the guy 1,001, 1,002. They let him go.
Right.
Did you hear the whistle?
That's what I'm talking about.
Jalen's still back here trying to get the ball thrown, and the guy that you blocked and let him go, he just made the damn sack.
Bro, they can come have a seat with me. They can come have a seat with me after 3 seconds, man, because they ain't blocking nobody after that, man. That, to me, it's a travesty, bro. You're not finishing plays. I listen. I ask all the people in the comments, watch film, sit back and watch. In fact, you can just go on highlights, watch highlights, and see how teams finish, how offensive linemen finish plays, how tight ends finish plays, and how our guys don't finish plays. They'll be sitting there watching while our running back is getting teed up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not trying to, bro. I made a living going out there and defenders hated it. I'm cleaning up piles, bro. I'm cleaning up piles. Because if that whistle didn't blow, that means the play wasn't over, and I'm going to clean up, bro. They don't do that, man. And it irritates me to no end. There's no finish in them. There's no dog in them. No dog whatsoever.
You hit the nail right on the head. What I don't see, I see a bunch of puppies. Last year, I saw 5 Rottweilers. Right now,
Yes,
they got a bunch of puppies, and they seem to be just going through the motion, and there's no pride, no enthusiasm, no energy, no intensity, nothing. And when you watch this team on both sides of the ball, sometimes it used to be just the offense, but it's the offense and the defense now. You watch them on the sideline, they like walking around the sideline like a bunch of mummies, like they don't know what's going on. Like they just, it's amazing to me. Like the game that you play, you've been playing your whole life, and you got to this level. This was your dream, and you out here giving a half-ass effort or half-hearted effort, doing the thing that you love to do, but you're gonna walk your ass to that window on Tuesday morning and get that big check.
You're gonna pick that check up. I mean, but look at it though. I'll tell any of them. If you don't like what I'm saying, let's sit down and watch film. Let's sit down and watch film. We can sit down and watch film. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. But what I'm seeing is I'm not wrong with this. I'm right. I'm absolutely right. I'm not saying the effort is not there to start off, but the effort is not there to finish.
I question the effort. I question the effort across the board on a lot of guys. Because I used to coach.
That's damning there. That's
listen.
damning.
And that falls on the coach, because I used to tell my peewees that I used to coach. I said, y'all are here because y'all want to be here. I said, there's other players that are bigger, stronger, and faster than you are. But the one thing everybody has in common is their ability to give maximum effort.
Right, okay? Right.
And I'm coaching you, and I know you, so I know what effort you can give, opposed to what I'm seeing you give. That effort doesn't cost you anything, okay? And if you can't give me the effort, then I can't put you on the field to play. I got to find somebody else that will give me the maximum effort. That's a coaching thing, B. Because how do you sit up in the meetings on Monday and watch the film and watch guys give a half-hearted effort, a half-ass effort, and allow them to keep playing?
Right. That's one thing that you can't. I won't allow another man to tell me anything when I'm on the field as far as my effort. Now, I mean, you may say that I got whooped physically, but you will never hear somebody say that, oh, B. Brooks, he didn't finish the play. I'm gonna finish the play. I may have got my ass kicked, but I'm gonna finish the play. I'm whooping ass, and I'm gonna finish the play. I mean, that's just how you play the game. You play the game with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. You need to walk off that field thinking you gave the entirety of your body, bro. The entirety of all your soul on that field, man. Because not a lot of people can do what you do. I did what people dreamed about doing. And then to disrespect my sport like it's being disrespected right now, it's being disrespected, bro. I don't see anybody out there finishing plays on the offensive line. And we're talking about this could be the best offensive line in the NFL. I mean, if you look at it, they player for player, this is the best. This is the best roster in the NFL, no question. But due to undiscipline and lack of effort, they're playing down to the level of teams that are way worse than they are. And that's something that I can't get down with it. I can't get down with lack of effort, and I can't get down with undisciplined play, because those are things you can control. Pre-snap penalties? Come on, man. Come on now. Man, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? I jump outside. Yeah, I get that sometimes, but to go in and line up wrong, you get paid millions of dollars, man, to make sure you're doing things the right way. But to line up wrong, come on. That's ridiculous. That's just something that has to be, crossing your T's and dotting your I's. The lack of discipline on this team is terrible right now. And like I said, I'll sit down and watch film with any coaches. I'll sit down and watch film with any players. I'll sit down and watch with anybody. And I will sit there and I'll say, look, this right here, too much watching. This right here, this is not happening. You can't do this. This right here, okay, I understand that. But I can't do that right now because they're going to think, they're going to think I'm just bitching and I don't know what I'm talking about. But watch the film. It's right there. I challenge anybody right there to go out there and really look at the film and see it and evaluate it.
B, I got to run, man. But, that old adage back in the day, the eye in the sky don't lie.
Right, yeah.
it still lives today.
Right,
Listen,
right.
man, I appreciate your time, man. Let's do it again.
My God,
sometime.
appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me.
All right. You got it. All right, folks, that's a wrap for tonight. I will see you back here next week, same place, same time. Thank you to all my sponsors. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I appreciate it. And, let's see if our birds can, resuscitate themselves and get back on track this coming Monday night in LA. All right. As always, you guys take care of each other and be good to each other. But most important, make sure you love each other. Peace out. Go Bird.
At Revolution X, we know that fortunes are made in times of uncertainty. Are you selling your investment real estate? Are you interested in deferring your tax with a 1031 exchange? At RevX, we're experts in 1031 exchange planning and the use of passive real estate options using DSTs. Not in the midst of an exchange and want to invest in real estate but don't know where to start? Revolution X has institutional grade real estate options for any size investor right now. Set up a consultation at RevXWealth.com. RevX, defer the tax, maximize the gain.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
At Mid-Penn Bank, we believe in the power of community. We're not just another bank, we're your bank. We're also your neighbor. For over 150 years, we've been helping dreams come true, financing projects that make a difference locally. From small businesses to community centers, we're here to support what matters most to you, donating time and resources to strengthen the Philadelphia region. And when Philly's favorite superstars need a bank they can trust, they turn to Mid-Penn Bank just like you can. Mid-Penn Bank. Stronger communities, stronger futures. Let's build something great together.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges, from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at ronjaworskigolf.com.